This show is brought to you by Manscaped. Use the code AFTV for 20% off your order and free shipping at manscaped.com.
Hi guys, welcome back to AFTV. We're all smiles here as I'm with Turkish on the back of a 1-0 win against Watford. 3 points, job done, run continues. And I feel, well, this is your fan cam, so apologies, but I always said that if you beat Watford, that would complete what I felt was the kind of run we needed on the back of the 3 defeats. Turkish, how are you feeling about it?
I'm going to agree with you first and foremost. I think the 3 points is probably the most important in the big scheme of things, but performances also matter, and that's where I'm kind of maybe not worried but concerned. Obviously, we face Liverpool next up for international break, and I don't want to dwell on that, but in this new turnaround of form and whatnot, we've had a couple of good performances there against Villa and Leicester, a couple, the Crystal Palaces, Brightons, and today against Watford. All in all, we're winning a lot more games than we're losing. Well, we haven't lost in 10 games, and that League Cup included. I'm happy. Now we go into a crucial run where we face Liverpool.
Makes me smile hearing him say he's happy.
He was probably smiling when I said that, but now we face
happy.
Liverpool, Everton and United away in the next 5 games.
Yes.
That's going to be another 3 massive tests. So we've done exactly what I would have asked Arteta to do, and I think the majority of Arsenal fans wanted to see after the first 3 losses.
Sure.
And today the win was important because if you go into the international break off the back of another poor performance and a draw, similar to that Brighton game, off the back of international break, we wonder what we're going to see.
Yeah.
This time round, we've got the 3 points. We haven't lost in 8 in the league, won 6, drawn 2. We can go to Liverpool and take it as, let's say, a free hit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think while this is a fan cam about the Watford performance, and we can dig a bit deeper into the performance and the nuts and bolts of it, I think if you look at the 8 games in the league, because the Carabao Cup games we should have been winning, but if you look at the 8 games in the league, I think there's been enough swagger about them and enough kind of diversity in our goals and unpredictability. And what I mean by that is not great today, but coupled with a really good performance against Leicester that tested us in all ways, a really good game against Villa, 3 against Spurs as well, coming back from the dead to nick a point against Palace, scoring from set pieces. Gabriel has one cleared off the line again today. I'm seeing enough to suggest that, we're far from the finished article. We know that. No one's pretending that we're not. But I'm seeing enough from this run of games to suggest that there's a real turn in the problems that we're causing teams now.
Yeah, I just seen during the match that we've scored the most goals from set pieces in the league. So that is definitely a turnaround in something. What I'm again worried about is, what's that saying? Counting your chickens too early, or
something like that.
Something like that. Let me know in the comments what I'm talking about. But I don't want to do that again. When Emery had that 20-game unbeaten run, I wasn't screaming we have our Arsenal back, but I felt somewhat that we are turning a corner. Now I'm feeling like that again, but I just need to feel like this come May. I need to go into the next summer transfer window feeling the way I'm feeling today, and I have been over the last 2-3 weeks, where I see something in what Arteta and Edu have been doing now.
Sure.
And that's all I want to do, see something. It's all good and well telling us to believe and trust the process and this and that, whilst things are not going right on the pitch, and a lot of the time off the pitch too. But give us something to believe in, something to hang on to, something to hope in, and then maybe you'll start slowly but surely winning people around. The mess at Arsenal Football Club wasn't created by Arteta already.
Sure.
It wasn't created by Emery, Raul Sanllehi, Wenger or Gazidis. They've been the faces of the mess created from Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke. I haven't watched his interview yet. Josh obviously done an interview with Jeff Shreves. I'm very interested to hear what he has to say. But I'm tired of also hearing them speak a lot more than seeing them act.
Right.
So let's see more action, less words, but at the same time that doesn't mean completely ignore us, because that's where you went wrong in the first place.
A big thing that I really enjoyed from today, and going more into the Watford performance, going forward, the usual questions. We still had a lot of big chances. I love what the back 4 are doing though. I know Ramsdale had his one moment, but generally, if you're not scoring goals and you're not doing what you should be doing, in the final third and creating chances and putting Watford to the sword, at the very least do your jobs at the back. At the very least, when you're not scoring goals, pick up points. And look at White and Gabriel intercepting, winning their headers, sweeping up at the back. They had a really pacey front 3. And you saw them try go long, they couldn't. Take them on, they couldn't. Come short, they couldn't do it. And there might have been a goal in the Liverpool-West Ham game, so we'll check that in a sec. But they just dealt with everything, and that is a real plus because they're both only like 23, I think.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. I think the defense and the back five, number one being fresh and completely eradicated of mistakes and any part of Arsenal's decline. That for me was number one. That's what I needed to see. I need to see fresh faces, because even if you have a new four in the five and a Mustafi, there's always a mistake there. If you have four in the five and a Bellerin, there's always a mistake there. And so on for many defenders over the last few years. Even Kolasinac at the club now. Yeah. Now we have a fresh back five, keeper, left back, right back, two centre backs, potentially Saliba coming in next summer, hopefully. It's something, again, that we can believe in. It's something we can hope in. And so far, so good. So far, so good. Ramsdale, not only is his shot-stopping ability impressed me, not only has his distribution more than impressed me, but the way he's so vocal and become somewhat of a leader already. Even today, there's a couple moments where maybe in the midfield, Sambi lost it, we faced a shot on target, or it just went wide, and Ramsdale straight up saying, like, what are you doing? Like, sort it out, that can't be happening. It happened about 2-3 times in the game, and I like to see that because we have to keep our standards up there. Too often over the past 10 years, I've seen mistakes happen, and it's kind of like, it's all right, buddy. No, it's not all right, buddy. Right. We're a team here. You continue making mistakes, it reflects on the team, the organisation, and then the fans. Now I'm starting to see players take ownership, players fresh, and players that I wouldn't say are the finished article, but I would say I see something in for the future. I had a couple big names or a couple big signings into the mix, and I'll be talking in a very different manner to what I have been over the last 3-4 years.
Absolutely. We're going to round off with a question. I don't want to do any of that, trust the process, all that, because I don't really want to be feeling that kind of thing. The only reason I say it is I think we don't really have, it's a young squad. I don't think we've got really enough evidence of whether whatever we're trying to do is working or not, or whether we're going to see the fruits of this labour, take us to where we want to be. They're big questions. But I will ask, from what you've seen in the last 2 months, we've had 2 international breaks and 2 kind of sets of 4 games, 8 games, 6 wins. How many clean sheets? Let me know. I think it's like 4, maybe 5. Anyway.
Brighton,
Watford,
4.
There you go. Right, okay. There's plenty of clean sheets in there. My question for you is, Leicester as well. My question for you is, are we on course to have a good season, do you think?
Based off of the form we just talked about, yes. But again, what is a good season for Arsenal football?
And that's exactly why I asked this question. Because and the reason I say it is because you could argue that sitting in 5th going into the international break, a lot of people, I'm not saying that's the standard Arsenal should have, but a lot of people would say that's Arsenal overachieving. People would say West Ham, Leicester, Spurs, United, they're all better teams than you. They'll all say that. And here we are, above most of them. Obviously, we'll see what happens with West Ham. We might be level with them. We don't know. They might win. But we are well and truly in the mix. And despite everything, we're 6 points off top. So a lot to be hopeful. I'm not excited, but there's a lot to be hopeful about.
Yeah, I think when I look at a good Arsenal season, I try and put my mind into what they have tried to do, bringing in Arteta in the last 2 years. And I say to myself, it's Arteta's second full season. We've just come off the back of 150 million spent in the summer, where we spent the most in Europe, not even just the league, in Europe. And I say to myself, if I put myself in their shoes, Edu, Vinay, Kroenke, what would be a good season to come out in May and say, you see this process we've been talking about? This is what we're talking about. For me, a good season at the bare minimum would be a challenge for top 4. I don't think top 4's on the cards this season. And if we was to get it, then, hands up, prove them wrong, keep on proving me wrong. But I think a challenge for top 4 after a second full season and a big summer window, coupled up with an overhaul and, a necessary change in atmosphere, philosophy, all of that. I think challenging for top 4 would be a good season. And by challenging, I mean being thereabouts in April. I think that's a good season for what they're trying to do. But obviously, as an Arsenal fan who grew up in the 90s and saw what Arsenal were on their greatest,
your expectations
for me,
become different.
Exactly, but that wouldn't be fair for me to now say a good season based off of what we was 15
And
years
it wouldn't
ago.
be fair on a very young squad that clearly has potential, but a lot of them are playing their first full seasons in the Premier League.
Yeah, and like I said, the squad I'm happy with, a lot of new faces, fresh. Arteta winning me over, dare I say it, I'm still very dubious about him. Edu, I'm surprised, that a lot of the things he said in that interview earlier this season are actually coming into play. But the ownership is where I'm held back in terms of my real hope and desire for this club. So I think a good season, top 4 challenge, and we just...
Amazing. We can enjoy this for the next 2 weeks. Arsenal sitting at 5th, unless West Ham lose. Well, I think they were 1-0 up, so unless they lose 12-1, which isn't going to happen. But hey, we're on track. Things are looking up. Thanks, Turkish.
Nice one, James.